Ever notice that when you already feel like crap, life just starts hitting you and hitting you, 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 hitting you. Every part of me was a part of you. Hello folks, welcome back to Stuff I Make Because I'm Bored. My name is Sin and I will be your host, and today I want to talk to you about YouTubers that I love and am inspired by. I know I said this already a few weeks ago, but my life has been crazy, and I recently found a new apartment, so I'm gonna be moving next weekend, and I am going through it. So there won't be a video next week, but to tide you over, I wanted to share with you some YouTubers that I love and feel inspired by. And I'm going to break it up into types of videos so that maybe you can find something that you will enjoy as well. Part 1. Essays and Reviewers. I don't really have a proper title for this section, but this is what I would consider my own channel as, so I'm gonna list it first. I love listening to people talk. Often I don't even really care what it's even about, as long as they make it interesting. What I look for in an essay or review or rant channel is someone with a nice voice, compelling editing, or someone who talks about a topic consistently. So, starting off with Swell Entertainment.
I'm Amanda, you're watching Swell Entertainment, and today we are talking about Dessert Wars.
I really like her videos. She has a series on her channel called I Tried It So You Don't Have To, where she buys and gives honest reviews of the latest TikTok craze or something that comes up a lot, but she also reviews events and goings-on from all around the world, from a huge variety of topics and places. I find her very charming and a compelling person to listen to. She often does some deep dives into the topics that she covers, and often finds and talks about things that I had absolutely no clue were even going on. And she does it in such a fun and interesting way.
Which was the first of eight events, I believe.
She's probably the biggest inspiration for my channel. I recommend her video on the fallout between book TikTok and a specific hockey team. Didn't know that was a thing? Well, neither did I. Up next, Jenny Nicholson.
It quietly closed its doors and never opened again. But the story doesn't end there.
I love Jenny. She's also more of a rant essay type of YouTuber. She discusses her thoughts on movies or books, and I'm pretty sure she started the whole do an unhinged recap of an entire TV series trend that everyone became obsessed with doing. Most of the books she reviews are outlandish in some way, like a book called Trigger Warning, which is exactly what you'd expect it to be, or actual published fan fictions like Dark Moon Rising, which is definitely not Raylo fanfiction, for sure. She has such a dry delivery to her humor, and I often find myself going back through her videos for a good laugh.
Or you could bring the boy to me. That boy is mine.
So, as a tribute to the original, I recommend to you her video on the Vampire Diaries. Up next, Kenny JD.
Hello, by the way, it's Kendall here. If you're new around here, welcome. If you're not new around here, what is up, home? Skillet biscuit. My lips are dry.
I found her videos through Tumblr and became obsessed. She does a series on her channel called Bad Movies in a Beat, where once per week she discusses just the most buck-wild and terrible movies while she does her makeup. Sometimes she also recaps trash reality TV, which is great because I am physically incapable of getting through the cringe of those kinds of shows, but watching them through her always makes it bearable. The looks are always amazing, the movies are always trash. Well, sometimes there's good ones sprinkled in there too, and Kenny's humor is just top-notch. I look forward to her videos every Saturday.
Guess what happened? Her subordinate, her employee, someone who works at her job.
And to you, I recommend her review of the live-action adaptation of Death Note. Moving on, Jiran Zhao.
Have you ever seen a sequel that destroyed so much of what you loved about the original movie that even as a little kid, you vowed to erase it from your mind?
I love Jiran's videos. They review movies that are inspired by Chinese culture, and they give super interesting breakdowns into how these depictions are or are not accurate. I found them through their Twitter thread where they were live tweeting their reaction to the 2020 Mulan movie, which they subsequently turned into their first YouTube video, which blew up.
Mulan? No, this is not Mulan. This is the work of the scriptwriters who have stopped caring about making sense.
They've since done the 1999 Mulan, Kung Fu Panda, and a whole host of other movies, and more interestingly, have also released videos talking about Chinese history. Also, they look gorgeous in every video. I recommend to you their video on how Wu Zetian, I hope I said that right, A nun became the first and only female emperor of China. And last but not least, I want to recommend Your Movie Sucks as a movie reviewing channel.
I just saw Space Jam: A New Legacy, and it was the worst movie I've seen all year.
I really appreciate his insight into movies, and he tends to review them more with an eye of the overall film, going in depth to discuss the music, the cinematography, the writing, the acting, everything, which has really helped me appreciate movies a lot more. He's got a really dry sense of humor, not dissimilar to Jenny Nicholson, but his dedication and love of filmmaking is palpable and infectious.
Yay, way to modernize these characters and turn them into Uncanny Valley nightmares, that's cool.
Plus, he rips into the new live-action Disney demakes, which I always appreciate. So for you, I recommend his video on The Lion King. It's part 1. One day we'll get part 2, I'm sure. And for honorable mentions in this category, here's some other reviewers that I enjoy in no particular order. Amanda the Jedi, a queer creator who reviews movies. Jenna Marbles, though she's no longer making new videos. She's still the queen of variety videos in my heart. And How to Cook That. Now, you might say, why is a cooking channel in the essay section? Well, that's because I'm specifically talking about her debunking video series. It's great. Part 2, Cooking Channels. Speaking of cooking videos, I don't actually watch a lot of cooking videos, but these two YouTubers deserve a spot in my recommendations list, so I've made a category just for them. Starting with Jun's Kitchen. I've been a huge fan of his videos for years, and it's always such a treat and a joy to watch them. His videos revolve on Japanese cuisine, and are often presented in an incredibly beautiful and aesthetic way. The videography is gorgeous, and his cats, which are featured in every video, are adorable. He also recently partnered with Sakurako, and has been touring around Japan to various candy factories, and talking with the people who own them, and learning just how these incredibly cute and intricate Japanese candies are made. It's just fascinating.
Hey guys, this time I'm going to make pork cutlet curry rice, aka Cuts Curry.
He also has a lovely voice, and all of his videos are so good that I really can't even pick one to recommend, so instead I'll direct you to his Japanese foods playlist. So moving on to the complete opposite end of the spectrum, I would like to introduce to you the Chaos King himself, Julian Solomita.
Welcome back. All of my burners are on. That is what we like to call a hot start.
I was introduced to him by way of him being Jenna Marbles' partner, and any video of them together always made me laugh so hard, and he's got his own vlog channel. He does vlogs about their dogs, but he also does a series called Aries Kitchen, which is, chaotic. The videos are always a blast to watch. Sometimes the recipes are really wild or something I've never heard of, and he is, or up until recently was, on a quest to make and try every single potato recipe he could find.
Real quick. Come on, dude. This whole recipe, I didn't even use my knife once.
I recommend making chicken wings, but instead of the chicken bone, it's a cauliflower. It's a riot. Part 3, art channels. I am always on the lookout for cool art on YouTube, and there are so many incredible artists on here. I tend to look for artists whose videos are either engaging, thoughtful, or have gorgeous art. Finding all three in one feels like hitting the jackpot. Up first is the wonderful Bobby Duke Arts.
I want that.
I want that too. So let's go ahead and make that.
His artwork mostly focuses around carving, but he uses a variety of mediums, using rocks, pencils, clay, pencils, wood, and silicone. His videos are super entertaining, and he always makes them so fun to watch, and he's not afraid to show times when he messes up, which I really appreciate.
Oh yay, that's great. Whoops.
I recommend his video on how he created this gorgeous wooden beetle. Next, I want to shout out Studson Studios.
It's flu season again, so before you catch pokerus or something worse, why not grab a tissue to help your nose pass all that muck?
His videos went viral when he first started making them around a year or so ago, and I've been hooked ever since. His work revolves around upcycling trash and turning it into gorgeous dioramas and figurines, themed on animated movies and video games.
We need windows in a building, but we also need door in a building. This is so dumb.
His humor really makes the videos fun and engaging, and I'm continually surprised by the quality of his end result. I recommend his video on how he created Howl's Moving Castle. And I would be remiss to not give honorable mentions to Crossing Crafts here as well. She was inspired by Studson Studios to make her own channel, and while the inspiration is strong, her videos are wonderful and fully unique with her own style and twist. I recommend this video on her sculpting a Korok rocket. I fell into the doll customization rabbit hole a while ago, and I have been trawling through YouTube trying to find different artists who create dolls in a style that I like. Though I have many loves, Enchantarium is my favorite.
Hello, it's me, Fabio. And it's me, Aligi. And we are Super Enchantarium Sisters.
This sister duo from Poland creates beautiful, unique dolls, mostly using Monster High dolls as the base. I love their unique style, and with their combined skills they work in a whole wide range of techniques including sculpting, sewing, 3D printing, and even electronics. They're both super charming, and I love their sense of humor, and their drive to build a wide variety of dolls.
A female Mario reimagined to be a fashionable schoolgirl. Or plumber. Fashionable plumber schoolgirl.
I recommend this video on how they made Tsula, the space cow. I also want to recommend Catmeleon.
When the face is done, it is time for a good old comparison. I just love the new head-to-body proportions.
She's not necessarily a doll customizer, because when she's through with the dolls, they're no longer posable but gorgeous figurines. She makes little dioramas to go with them, and each one of her sculptures is more gorgeous than the last. Her attention to detail and the level of care she puts into each of her works is just amazing, and I love it so much. Where Enchantarium is certainly more enchanting, Catmeleon leans more into the seductive and the macabre. I recommend this video of hers on how she made this gorgeous spider lady. And for honorable mentions, because I have a lot of people that I love to watch, here they are in no particular order. Drawfee, 4 people get a drawing prompt and then draw what comes to mind. Great humor, great art, great times. 2B Sweet, Delightful, and Moonlight Jewel, who are all doll customizers. Brentindavis Banner, a seamstress who makes videos on Victorian-era clothes. Ice Cream Sandwich and Domix, 2 excellent short video creators who animate their discussions on various topics. And Nail Career Education, just a wonderful, super kind lady who does tutorials on how to build and sculpt acrylic nails. I learned everything I know from her. And part 4, music channels. So let's keep this art train rolling, but because I know so many artists, I added an extra section for music specifically. Starting off, Smooth McGroove. The man, the myth, the legend. Smooth makes a cappella covers of video game soundtracks, as well as other songs. He's got such a beautiful voice, and I love watching his videos for when he shows his cat. I've bought several of his songs, specifically from the Final Fantasy X soundtrack, and listen to them frequently if I need some background music to think to. He's recently started uploading again, so please check out his latest video from Tears of the Kingdom, Hateno Village. Moving on to Sideways.
Right here, you can hear O'Hara smile in the studio. Really think about that. You can hear her smile.
I've already mentioned him on this channel before, but it's always warranted to mention him again. I found his videos while I was watching some movie reviews or something and came across his video on the music in Cats 2019. The way he presents his videos is so engaging and fun and super interesting. I've learned so much about music history from him. He also gave me a lot more words to describe why I viscerally hated Cats so much. That movie caused the pandemic, okay? That's my theory. So that's the video of his that I would recommend to you. 8-Bit Music Theory is another channel that I can't get enough of.
The soundtrack, besides being lovely to listen to, makes a point to ensure that it's emotionally matching what's going on screen in an interesting way at all times.
This channel does a much more technical dive into breaking down tracks from video games, and why they work as well as they do. It's definitely not a channel for music beginners, but if you're like me and have a basic grasp of music theory, there's a whole giant treasure trove of information to be found here. Since a lot of his videos dive very deeply into breaking down music, a great intro video to his channel would be this one, where he discusses the soundtrack for Okami. Did you see A History of Japan? You've seen A History of Japan. Bill Wirtz is an amazing musician, and he's got a very unique and defined style of writing that's really a joy to watch.
Can't go back to where I come from, 'cause I'm not welcome, and it's not fun there.
Now, technically A History of Japan is not music, but a lot of his other videos are music, so I'm putting it here anyway. Watch A History of Japan. No honorable mentions here, because I don't really watch that many music channels. I should find more. And part 5, gaming channels. I couldn't really do a list of my favorite YouTube channels without talking about all the Let's Players now, could I? I really wouldn't be where I am today without these guys. It's super cheesy, I know, but they were my friends when I had very little and were there for me when I was going through a lot in my late teens and early 20s. So, here's to the gamers. Gamer Girl Gab.
What is that melody? Is that?
She is just like me, for real for real. Gamer Girl Gab plays horror games, but also comfy cozy games like Stardew Valley, Dave the Diver, I loved that series, as well as hidden object games like all of the Nancy Drew games. She's very sweet and soft-spoken, and she speaks Dutch and Japanese, just like me. Granted, her Japanese is far, far superior to mine. I really recommend her Fatal Frame Let's Plays, specifically where she plays the Japanese versions and translates them into English as she goes. Fatal Frame is one of my favorite game series, and each game has a very different take on themes of grief and loss and death, and also horrifying ghosts. Moving on to Aliens Rock, I was introduced to Tyler's videos by my ex through his Bloon TD videos, but he's thankfully branched out a lot since then. He plays puzzle games, and I really enjoy the variety of games that are out there, from deck builders to roguelikes to Minesweeper variations, I guess. I really enjoy listening to his thoughts as he walks through puzzles, and whenever I'm stuck on a puzzle in a game that he recommended, I just watch his video and see if I can figure it out using his logic. I really recommend his playlist on Pacaret Down the Rabbit Hole, a game with incredibly charming graphics. It's a logic puzzle game with super simple rules, and yet it has much deeper, more complex puzzles than you'd ever expect. And Tyler does this a lot, which I endlessly enjoy.
Wow, this is so tough. Yes! Oh my god, okay, that's a tricky ass level.
For a different flavor of Let's Plays, I really enjoy Let's Game It Out.
Like, you could build a normal factory, but why? When you can make abominations like this. And then when this base gets completely out of control, you can slide your way across the map and make something even more wild.
His motto is basically, let's see how far this will go. And he makes videos on taking games to their extremes. What's important is that he never mods the game. He breaks the game entirely through what the game considers legal, which leads to true hilarity. He's also got a great sense of humor. Can you tell I like YouTubers that make me laugh? And I really recommend his video series on Hydroneer, a game where, in theory, you mine dirt in search for rare metals and gems. Or you can do this.
Behold my handiwork.
Nana825763. Pito Pito is a Japanese horror video maker, and you may have seen this video of his before. A walkthrough of my house. But I've added him into the gaming segment because he's currently going through and playing Minecraft.
だいたいここの攻略法分かってきた感じがする。
He's never played it before, and it is so fun and endearing to watch this guy learn and build and travel through the world of Minecraft while not using a wiki or looking anything up. He's figuring it all out himself. Yeah, it's great. So I recommend that series. He's currently making a horror game, so he's not been uploading as often, but I always take the time to watch his videos when he releases them. And last but not least, Markiplier.
I've got a gun with God knows how many bullets in it. How many bullets? 1! Good.
Aside from his Let's Plays though, what I really like from Mark's channel is his sketches, and more recently, his incredibly detailed choose-your-own-adventure style videos. A date with Markiplier was so fun, and I had a blast going through every single option. And then he released a heist with Markiplier, which had even more crazy stories with even more branching paths and even more different outcomes. And then his latest creation was In Space with Markiplier, parts 1 and 2. I am ashamed to say that I have not gone through Space 2. It is just too daunting, but I loved Space 1. The story was so compelling, the visuals are incredible, and the sound design? Top-notch! He was also the mastermind, along with Ethan Nestor of formerly Crank Gameplays, of a series on YouTube called Unus Annus, in which they uploaded a video every day that were not gaming videos before they deleted the entire channel. God, I miss Drum Date. Not to mention he's literally making a movie right now? Iron Lung? Holy crap, I'm excited for that to come out. Anyway, I did originally find him through his gaming videos, which is why I've kept him here. So if you don't know who he is somehow, then I would direct you to this playthrough of Oxygen Not Included, a colony simulation game where you try and keep alive these little duplicate guys as resources steadily dwindle. I adore watching him lose his mind. Then finally, some honorable mentions in the gaming category. I don't watch these guys as often as I used to, but they'll always hold a place in my heart. Starting with Game Grumps, two guys, Aaron and Dan, play video games poorly, but they are very funny. They are on tour. I'm gonna go see them when they come here. Wax Fraud is almost more of an art channel. Wax does gorgeous Minecraft builds, and it's super fun to watch him create. I've learned a lot from him. Barry Kramer, specifically for his How About That Game series, where he does a bit of a deep dive into these games, and Vati Vidya, for his lore on Dark Souls games. I love those games so much. So, that's a non-exhaustive but pretty thorough list of all the channels that I love and that inspire me here on YouTube. No one exists or creates in a vacuum, and I'm sure that if you watched any or all of these channels that you can build up a pretty strong idea of why my channel is the way that it is. There's also a lot more that I want to do with my channel. I want to do crafting videos, I want to do a cappella covers, I want to do longer, more thorough game reviews. I just do not have a lot of time for that right now. I will get there one day. Have you heard of any of these YouTubers? Do you know of any YouTubers that you think I might like? Who's your favorite YouTuber right now? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for spending some time with me. If you thought it was time well spent, leave a like. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this in the future. I post videos every Tuesday at noon, with the exception of next week because I will be moving. If you want to hear from me more frequently, and if you'd like sneak peeks into future videos, you can follow me on all my social medias. You can find the @ here, or in the description. But that's all, folks, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye! SIMBIB, stuff I make because I'm bored. My high school had their 10-year reunion the other day, and I feel old.